there, welcome to the Beaten Trail, and in this episode we're going to have a multi-part series, and this is our Hatfield and McCoy, Buffalo and DevilAnse. The weather in West Virginia this time of year, March into April, can be a little bit wet, and with that we had some rainy days and we had some snow. But at the same time we had some beautiful, beautiful weather, and it was chilly in the morning, but we stayed in Williamson, West Virginia, while the other half of the team stayed across the border in Kentucky. And this little town has everything you need, fuel and supplies, and even a KFC. Butch's location, only 2-3 miles away, and that's where the team stayed. The majority of us were in rooms there. Once we met up, we were able to get through Williamson and head out. The trailhead isn't too far outside of town, and it's convenient. We did have a large group. In this case, we had 16 or 17 vehicles. Again, radio communication with our little radios, and that worked out pretty well. As always, when you're riding on the road, it's expected that you follow the traffic rules and be safe. Of course, everybody probably does not have directionals or horns, but you should use hand signals and give way to other vehicles. Having so many vehicles together going off-road, it's always important to have good communications. At intersections, we generally wait for each other and make sure we haven't lost anybody, and the last person in line also has a radio and keeps in touch to make sure nobody falls behind or has a breakdown. Big thanks out to Shane and Gary and Frank for their assistance in filming part of this episode, using their rides as mounts as well as camera and the footage, so thank you very much. We had the Honda Talon, and we did have our heat and enclosure on just in case, and we did need it several times because we ran into a bit of snow, not necessarily whiteout conditions, but it was getting pretty slippery. Most of the time, the trails were not too dusty. Found a nice hill, and Josh and team went up ahead and just checked it out. And this was more of a day where it was overcast and gray, but everybody wanted to go up this hill, and so we all took turns going up and coming down. And I believe it did dead end out to a further black. So Shane and Josh had checked it out ahead, and there was not much that we wanted to go beyond that. But still, nonetheless, we hung out there and had lunch and had a great time.
It's all good?
Yeah. A little slippery, a little slipperage.
A little bit.
Hi, K-Dane.
It kind of like kicks you. But we're live.
And Jonathan Pedro.
Oh, and Jaden Norfleet.
Yeah. A whole bunch of people on there. and we'll get back in because they're ready to run right away. System, and we just did a really cool hill. We let the bigger units go up first, and then we did a test. We did a drone flight, caught them going up and flying around and stuff like that. And now we're going to go down into town, but it was good. Enjoy the muddy show for a while, and we'll catch up with you later.
When riding, there's always a town nearby, and sometimes it may take you a little bit of planning, but all the maps are online. We utilize a mix. We use Onyx and we use some other apps, but they all will get you in the right place. And Bob T Maps were one of the more favorite ones that we used. It's recommended. You can go ahead and we'll put a link up so you can find those maps, and they're reasonable and well worth the investment. We use a Samsung 7-inch, 8-inch tablet. Comes in handy. Shane has a 10-inch tablet in his, and we have all the maps we need. So Shane was leading the way most of this trip, and everybody was just enjoying it. So we didn't sweat the mapping. Normally we would have online maps for you, but it's just such a huge location that it defeats the purpose of enjoying the ride if you're focusing on the maps. As long as you have one or two people that have cell service, maybe have a different coverage type, AT&T and Verizon, you should be okay. And otherwise, GPSs work fine. So as long as you have a good mix, you're good to go. And we stopped in town to have a snack and to fill up on gas and to regroup. And there's always side trips to make, plenty to see, and I know there's outlaws out there as well, but we'll save that for another video. So after we had our break in town, we headed back out on the trail to see more of DevilAnse and beyond. Like I had stated before, the weather changes, so you definitely in the spring want to be able to have multiple options in layers, or if you have a flip-up windshield, you'll definitely be using it. But this time of year, I don't recommend that you take your windshield off. We had Frank in his Polaris XP1000S, and he was in the elements most of the time. Only when it rained and poured was he uncomfortable. So keep that in mind if you're going to be going, and you can always pull over and have something put on, rain gear or otherwise. Trail conditions are great. I do have to say, Hatfield & McCoy takes great care in making sure there's no major obstacles there. you'll find some divots and some gullies, and some of the edges of these trails are off the edge, so you want to make sure that you don't get too close and you watch around turns, because we did have a lot of oncoming traffic. It's a great way to keep in communication. Have radio up on front. The person in front will usually call ahead traffic. Shane did a great job on that. We just knew, hey, we have 2 or 3 vehicles coming through, or we'd be able to communicate if we had to take an alternate route. The sunsets were beautiful. The weather was beautiful on most of the days in the afternoon. Again, appreciate everybody for watching. This is just a multi-part series. We had so much footage to go through that 4 or 5 cameras, front and rear, as well as drone shots and Insta360. There's just so much to go through, and rather than bore everybody, we figured we'd put this together and you'd be able to see it. And then this is multiple months later. Video schedule's been pretty busy and we've been taking a lot of trips. The whole team was great. We had a diverse set of riders and passengers, and everybody had a great time. Hatfield and McCoy in West Virginia and parts of Kentucky, which we visited, just offers great trails all year round. Now, of course, in the winter, some of these can be very treacherous. We only had a small taste of the winter, a little bit of snow, a little bit of rain. The majority of the time, it was beautiful, and we highly recommend that you get down there. We have other videos that we put up with other Hatfield and McCoy trails, but really get out and visit the website, register, and read all about it. As long as you're prepared, it is a great trail system to enjoy no matter what your difficulty level. So check it out and enjoy. Coming back into town, the sun was going down, but still, it was all good. I believe most of the places do not want you to be on the road after dark, so we wanted to get back and be safe and not have our vehicles on the major highway that we had to take to get down to Belfry, Kentucky, and down at Butch's area. Now, we will have another video coming soon. We did take a private tour with Butch from Butch's AutoBody in Belfry. He's also runs the Trailblazers, and that is his company that does tours. Give him a call. I believe he still may be doing some tours. I'm unsure of what the summer will bring for his tours, Williamson is a great place to stay. It's centrally located. It is on the far end of West Virginia, but it does offer some great amenities. Airbnbs and apartments, as well as these cabins that Butch offers. Give him a holler and check it out. He's well equipped for rentals and for repairs, as well as parts. And here it was just extremely convenient. The majority of the group stayed here with adequate parking and resources and a fire pit outside. So we highly recommend it. We thank Butch again, and we look forward to riding with him again. Check out our Beaten Trail merchandise, hats and shirts at the click of the button. We thank you for watching, and we hope to see you out there on the trail. Thanks.